Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Adobe Live. This is the Character Animator section of things, and my name is Dave Warner. I'm a UI designer on the Character Animator team, also known as OK Samurai on the interwebs. And I'm joined by a fantastic guest today. You guys are in for a huge treat for the next half hour. David Gerhard is the Creative Director of Alternative Media at Nickelodeon Animation. Building on his past experience as an animator and director across several companies, as I read from my script, shows and projects, he and his team are now exploring new frontiers in animation, such as their recent live virtual reality experience with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at San Diego Comic-Con, where fans could enter a virtual Manhattan and talk to Michelangelo and Donatello in real time. Today he spoke at a standing room only crowd at his Adobe MAX session titled Storytelling Beyond Linear, Real-Time 2D Animation at Nickelodeon. David, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Welcome.
I think I'm the bigger fan.
Oh, no, definitely not, No, you guys have done some amazing work, and so being an animator at Nickelodeon, huge deal. I'm sure it might be a dream of a lot of people out there as well. How did you first get started in this whole thing?
Well, I've just been drawing for forever, but animation, watching like Akira and Miyazaki films, that kind of like started to spark my interest in being an animator.
Yeah.
And then I came out to school, went to Cal Arts, and was able to luckily pursue animation and keep going. Yeah. So far, so good. Seems like it's been working out. Yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
And we've got the chat over here, live chat. Hi,
Hello,
Dave and
chat.
Dave, says Elizabeth De La Rosa. Hello. Tom is saying excellent again. Joel is saying hello. So hello everyone working all over. TMNT, they're saying, so we're getting some shout outs for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Heroes in a Half Shell and they're green. That is correct, Reverb Mike. That is a very, very astute observation there. You got an Akira shout out from Voodoo Val over there. TMNT is the thing in my house, let me tell you. So a lot of Turtles fans out there.
Keep watching, it keeps me working.
Yeah. So when did you first know you wanted to be an animator? Like, what was the time where you said, I want to make, not just drawing, but I want to make these things move and start talking and all that stuff?
To be honest, I actually really wanted to, I think initially I wanted to get into either storyboarding or character design. I thought animating was pretty boring.
Yeah.
It's a very slow process.
Yeah.
But I think just being able to make a character have personality and show some acting is just really endearing, and it just makes you want to do that.
Right.
It's like, I'm not a very in front of the camera kind of person. I like to be behind the character, but just being able to work with characters really is, I don't know.
Yeah,
lovely.
Absolutely. And recently you did this Loud House Live thing, which I'll show here. Let me get to it. Let's see if it decides to play.
Sure.
All right, there we go. So this is one of the things that you set up using Character Animator. You guys did a cartoon live stream with animated characters actually answering live questions on Facebook. How did you pull this off? Yeah, what's the story behind this?
Well, it was Nickelodeon's first, and actually I feel like I'm looking at a character animator puppet and that he's like, doing lip sync for me, he's throwing me. But we wanted to do something, well, Nickelodeon had not done any live streaming animated. It was our first, and probably there hadn't been many 2D live streams at that point.
Yeah.
And we just thought it was kind of a natural fit for the Loud House.
Yeah.
The characters were a great design that lended itself to Character Animator, and it just gave us a lot of room to play. We worked with some really great people that gave us room to kind of make these puppets be fun.
Yeah, and you had two characters at the same time, talking back and forth, right? And like in this case, Lincoln and his sister talking back, and then she took over the show for a little bit and some stuff like that. So you had some surprises in there as they were talking back and forth. Right,
and it sort of broke it up a little bit. So we wanted to have two characters. One, because that was a high bar for us.
Yeah.
We've kind of seen some AMAs where it was just one person talking to camera, static. It's just a little we wanted to make this a little more story-fied.
Yeah, exactly.
Make the living room come to life as if it was like a busy living room.
Yeah.
And frankly, Lucy is a fairly limited character. She doesn't have like eyes or a lot of expressions. She hardly moves, so it makes it easy to like make a puppet for her and make her emote. It was a good fit. And
so you guys did that, and then you said, you know what? That's not crazy enough. We need to raise the bar even further. And you did this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live virtual reality experience at San Diego Comic-Con this year, where basically, if I understand it correctly, people put VR goggles on, they saw, there you are right there, they saw the turtles, Michelangelo and Donatello, talking to them using the real voice actors on the rooftops of Manhattan. How did you pull this off? This is crazy.
Not a number of moving parts at all.
Yeah.
Well, we work with the Entertainment Lab, a Nickelodeon unit that's involved in technology and creating new mediums or answering new mediums with that technology.
Yeah.
So here's Chris Young, amazing man. They wanted to do a VR press junket.
Okay.
So we wanted to do something that was new and allowed interviewers to come in and actually interview the turtles, the characters.
Yeah.
You know, rather than maybe say, which is, you know, it's good, like interviewing actors or looking at just not just art. The art is great too.
Right.
But this kind of was a new way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like it was a huge hit. I mean, you were in your session earlier today, you were showing one of the interviews, and they were laughing and talking back and forth and reacting in real time. And it's like, if I could have talked to Optimus Prime as a kid, that would have made my life, you know? And so you're giving these people this opportunity to talk to their, you know, their heroes, or, you know, these amazing characters that have always been these kind of, oh yeah, I watch their stories on the screen, but I can never talk one-to-one on them.
And they're not, I mean, it's good, but this just gives us a way for kids and fans to just be able to like talk to the characters they love and have interaction with them.
Yeah.
I think that's just a growing need, you know, and it allows a lot more room to play.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing work. This is by far one of the most impressive things we've ever seen done with Character Animator.
Oh, right on.
And yeah, it's awesome. We're getting a lot of things in the chat here saying, so awesome, whoa, Voodoo Val says. They were talking about, you know, just really thinking this is awesome. How do you do this? It's a lot of moving parts, as you were saying. Joel is saying, was that like the My Little Pony stream? Yeah, so My Little Pony, they did a thing, Avatar Labs, I believe, they talked at NAB earlier this year, I believe, where they were talking about doing a My Little Pony stream with a similar idea, live animation, Character Animator, Facebook live stream. So we're starting to see, I think you guys have kind of set the bar, and now we're seeing a lot more of that stuff.
Was the My Little Pony thing in Engine, or was that?
So they piped them in using NDI into Unity, I believe.
Got it.
Yeah, which is, you guys were similar, you did through
UE4.
Yeah, UE4, right, exactly.
And it was really interesting, I love it when, like, My Little Pony, or the Simpsons sort of started off. I saw somebody in the chat mention that.
Yeah.
But it gave us a lot of like inspiration to like how to like what's our spin on it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
How do we bring characters into it?
Yeah.
More fully, make it an immersed world.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was seems like it was a huge success. So congrats on that. And so I don't know if you can talk about what's next, but what are you thinking? I mean, what do you think is the next frontier for this kind of live animation stuff?
I mean. Well, we just want to make more of it, for one thing. I mean, it is really fun to just mash this technology together, push this art, and like the people we work with are so much fun and willing to explore this stuff. So any little like kernel where we get to like play with it and do something new, we're totally going to eat up. Like I personally like can't wait to like do road shows, you know, and be able to do like live studio audience stuff. That's something that's big for Chris Young, you know, that kind of thing. And we just want to do a lot more of it. There's just so much to do. Right.
I see a lot of people in the chat, like Ivan, asking, you know, this is something I'm interested in. I want to become an animator. What advice would you give to an animator nowadays, particularly because all these tools are so much more accessible nowadays, right? They've got all these, you know, these tools that make animation, you know, while it is still a very difficult to make things look as good as you guys make it, the barrier to entry feels like it's a little lower. So what would you give advice to someone like Ivan who's interested in like, I want to work for Nickelodeon in 5 years. How do I get there?
Well, please start applying. So if you want to get an animation, I mean, you do like got to like get the basics down. You know, good draftsmanship is really important because that's really communicating everything that you do, whatever software you use. Whether you go CG or 2D or animate. Like just being able to draw and communicate solidly is an easy starting point. You know, being able to play with a bunch of different software is good, but you want to make sure that you're an animator at heart, whatever software you're using. For me, like Flash at the time was the big leveler. I studied like hand-drawn, like pencil paper drawing animation, and then for me, Flash and Illustrator were so accessible to be able to like make animation and clean it up and color it.
Yeah.
At the time, that was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And now there's just so many more tools to play around with so many different mediums that
yeah.
It's good, but it can also get you a little lost. So if you like focus a little bit on being an animator and not just someone versed in software, you'll go a lot further.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And there's a question here, is there a link to that whole behind the scenes vid? Yeah, actually, I just took that video from Nickelodeon Animated Studios has a great channel where they show a ton of behind the scenes stuff on
cool.
how things work. You guys have even done some Mario Kart tournaments I've seen. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of behind the scenes.
That's a big draw.
Yeah,
studio,
yeah, I can
sure.
understand. Who's your go-to Mario Kart character?
I don't.
You don't participate?
I'm sorry, Chad.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
actually play Mario Kart.
Oh man.
But I have many friends that do, and at Nickelodeon it's a big deal to like be on those teams. And
yeah,
it's a
intense.
whole studio and intensity thing.
Yeah,
super cool.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
I would think Wario.
Yeah, Wario's pretty good. He's pretty good. I'm a Yoshi guy myself.
Yeah.
The green, like, you know,
Yeah,
you can,
I can see that.
Yeah. My tongue goes out like that.
Yeah, sure.
Lay eggs, you know. That's what I do. This was called What's New in Character Animator, so I guess we should talk about Character Animator a little bit. But so we're showing here. I've got one of the new template characters we have. This woman. Heather is her name, and she's a free template puppet, and she shows off a few things. She's got a few triggers here. I can turn things on and off. Have the wand appear, disappear, and then she's got a new thing we've called magnets, where you can magnetize and attach things to a character to have them pick up stuff and throw it. You can even also adjust some of these things, like have it so it's a little more floaty and goes around.
Cool.
So you have a lot of control over how things attract and whatnot. And this is something people have been asking for a lot. I want to interact with an object. I want to be able to pick it up and that sort of thing. You guys seem to always push Character Animator to the limits. I mean, you're dealing with Photoshop files that are gazillion layers deep. And no, it's fine. It's fine. We're getting emails from you guys. Hey, we just broke things.
Can we just add more layers?
Yeah, more layers. Right, right. So how do you guys are always, being part of this alternative media group, you guys are constantly pushing for that next bar and always kind of on the bleeding edge of stuff. Where do you know where that edge is? Like, how do you know to rein it back, or you just go full force?
I mean, sometimes we just get thrown into it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we want to create this thing, we want to use this and that, and then we get excited, so we just end up not making it easy for ourselves, because who would want that anyway? But yeah, like with the object interaction, that's really cool. With our Lincoln puppet, we built in the table into the puppet, or we would like, and for me, this is still the coolest thing that I've done is we did a camera move of the living room. So at one point, the Lincoln character reaches up to the camera and turns it on. Turns it up, right?
And like that, yeah.
We built that in as a puppet, the camera tilt, rather than making it a separate source.
Right.
So yeah, we're always playing, like, if we think we found something new and cool, we're always running over each other like, hey, this works way better.
Right, right.
It's cool.
And you guys you were saying in your talk earlier today that these Nickelodeon shows have a very specific way that you draw things and do things. And so like the one-to-one animation we're seeing here is not what you want Lincoln or the Turtles to look like. So you're using traditional frame-by-frame animation techniques and bringing those into Character Animator, which it also supports. Right. So you're kind of using the best of both worlds in a way to do this stuff.
I mean, that's one thing that's really great about Character Animator and everything Adobe is that you can they give some flexibility in the functions you want to use.
Right.
So being able to turn off the camera, like it actually solved a lot of issues that maybe some creators not familiar with it didn't like seeing in their designs, which is totally understandable. And being able to do that let us still be able to use it. So like camera tracking, like that can work on certain projects. But it may not be the perfect fit for every show or design. It just kind of depends on who you're working with.
Makes sense. Another feature that we were showing was this thing, Characterizer. This got a little bit of presence on the main stage at the keynote a couple of days ago, and basically it allows you to take your face and apply style to it. So this is my beautiful disembodied head, and you can take any art style and just, you know, click it, and within a couple of seconds, it will add that style to your face. And if I change, you know, my different expressions, like here's my frown, it'll start doing that. And what that allows you to do, not only do we have some pre-baked in styles, but you can now download new, or, you know, add any style here, any painting, drawing, photograph, whatever you want. And then that's something that you can add right here and get something like this, where you have an animated talking painting. It's also got the automatic head turns, the eyebrows moving. When I blink, I can frown. It's my Tommy Lee Jones impression. It's pretty good, working on it.
You guys are adding so much new stuff all the time, it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So this is nice. We feel like this is a nice way for people to get, you know, people say, oh, I can't draw or I can't animate. If you have a face, you can create a character, right? And so this allows you to quickly pick a style and add that sort of stuff into it. So it's kind of a fun thing. And with all this idea of, you know, live animation, where do you see the future of like where live animation could head? Like, is it possible one day have like a live TV animated show that's completely?
Funny you mention it. Yeah, I mean, I'd really love that. I think we'd love to have that. It's so new, and there's so many routes to take with live animation that we're still kind of figuring out how it all works.
How it works, yeah, it's new, yeah.
But yeah, I would really, and I know I'm not alone, I would really love to see like a live animated sitcom.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we have some examples of it a little bit starting there, but you know, before a studio audience even, or where there's some interaction with the audience, you know, in a full-blown series, and how that plays back into the series.
Right, right.
It gets really crazy fast.
Yeah.
And there's no choice but to not do that then.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the chat. Does Character Editor work only with your camera, or can it use pre-recorded videos? For example, can we trick it with a 3D character? So one of the options you do have in Characterizer is select from a source image, and so you could take any image, any person, any celebrity you want, and stylize their face if you wanted to from a single image. But for the biggest animated effect, you would probably want to have the person sit down in front of the webcam, do the whole process of saying ah, ee, ooh, all that stuff. And there's actually a really nice process when you go. All you do is say a few things. Adobe, Photoshop, Lightroom, and other branded Adobe things. But from that, it automatically takes all the mouth data, ah, ee, ooh, all that stuff, and that's what translates into an animated character. So it's a little Adobe Sensei magic behind the scenes doing this stuff. What were some of the other things we added? This is one of my personal favorites. This is this thing called replays. This allows you to take any interaction, so any thing you've recorded in the timeline. So I wanted to make this unicorn dance. So I did a little recording of him dancing, you know, doing his little thing, and then he starts to get bored of it, and so he gets upset, and like he's kind of not having this. And this is one of the free example characters too you can download, that's free with the app. But what I can do is select all of these pieces, and then I can right-click it and say create, replay, and trigger. And then it shows up over here in my replays panel that's currently blocked by my head, but you get the general idea. So what I can do is go over here, I think this is the one it's called, over here in the left-hand side. Oh, now he switched it over, thank you. So now if I play this back, it will play back that thing on demand. And so this is saying you could hook up to you know, a keyboard key or a MIDI device or different input sessions. So you can have these on-demand you know, live mannerisms that your character can have. And that allows you to kind of pre-record a bunch of stuff and then play it back with a touch of one button. And so it seems like this would be helpful maybe for some things for you guys in the future. Yeah.
To be honest, this is like another rabbit hole that I'm like excited to go down. I'm like, oh, they've added something that, like, yeah, I know we've mentioned this a little bit. We haven't really gotten to explore it, but I can't wait to just like pick it apart and figure out how to break it and use it in a new way too. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
There's a lot of fun stuff in this latest thing. I've seen a lot of people saying that they thought my Characterizer face looked a little creepy, that I looked like Frankenstein. I see Dave Waite there from Zookeeper Studios, who was on our last Adobe live stream we did, trolling us over there, so thanks, Dave. What else do we got? Oh, everyone's saying the unicorn is cute. They really like the cute little unicorn. Yeah, this is a great character. This was done by the Digital Puppets guys in the UK, those brothers. And that's the nice thing about this start panel here is all these characters are available. So that witch character I showed at the beginning, Medusa, this gorilla, Stardust the unicorn, this stop motion style character. There's a bunch of options you have. So this is the best way to get started with Character Animator, I'd say, is, you know, take one of these characters and just start click it and play around with it, and you can always edit the Photoshop or Illustrator file to keep doing whatever you want. And
that's how we learn.
Yeah, right. And you were showing some cool stuff too today, where when you were showing the process of the turtles, you were showing how they like you would have these rough sketches of their in-between animations, and so you would kind of really build up the Photoshop file piece by piece, almost like these skeletons as they were.
And we used Character Animator almost as a pose out tool.
Okay, yeah.
So that we could kind of test out what acting we'd want, or jettison other acting. And start to like plan out a story through Character Animator.
Okay.
And we're doing some really fun stuff with that too.
Yeah. Where do you think animation is headed in the next 10 years? I know that's a hard question.
Wow, well, it keeps getting new, like more and more like fun with all like new tech just keeps coming out, and it keeps getting that sort of lower bar thing that makes it fun to just kind of play with.
Right.
Like NDI, like really changed a lot for me.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see like what will change. People do like linear stories. They do like. I mean. There's a lot of planned stories that are great, but adding live stuff in there is fascinating to see how that will change it. It just keeps getting mixed up and new stuff keeps coming out.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where. So.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know either, but yeah, I thought you maybe
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's exciting, and I've been particularly impressed with Character Animator. We see a lot of newcomers to animation who are they're starting to create their own YouTube series and their own little cartoons, and that's really cool to see. What do you think of this rise of these these YouTube or Instagram animators? That's what they're doing. They're working on these little pieces. Yeah.
I mean, I get excited seeing it on Twitch. Like, I mean, personally, I can't wait to see where a Twitch streamer starts to take the character animate, like a puppet that they're using on stream, and then applying like a story to it, extending it out, to beyond just the stream. But having being able to go into like Instagram and flesh out a character or story in those mediums too.
Right.
Like the fact that Character Animator does live and produce content. You can quickly do things to answer any kind of question or environment. It's great stuff.
Yeah, well thanks. Yeah, I mean I certainly feel that way. Like I've always loved to draw, and I always felt like character animation felt too difficult or too complicated for me to dig into. And then like I just made this interactive robot detective story, Evan Flamethrower Robot Detective.
It's cool.
It's like I uploaded 190 videos to YouTube and all these branching storylines that connect, and there's no way I could have done that with traditional animation tools. It would have looked clunky, it would have looked, I mean, they're supposed to be robotic, so I guess that's okay, but it just wouldn't have looked as professional, and I wouldn't have been able to quickly create all this this content. And Character Animator allowed me to do that, and so that idea that was stuck inside my head was able to see the light of day. So I'm excited to see more and more people using Character Animator to get those ideas out there into the world, which is,
nice.
That's fun, yeah. I would love to see some AR experiences with character. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like you're in AR and a little character comes up and says, "Hey, how's it going? You wanna? I'm Clippy. You wanna?"
Like
probably maybe not that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe someone else. Let's see. If I wanted to develop a show like South Park or Rick and Morty, would this be a quick turnaround system? Yeah. So I mean, animation, there's a bunch of tools in the animator's toolbox, right? And so sometimes you might need a screwdriver, sometimes you might need a hammer. Every team's got their own set of tools and things that they do. But I would say for certainly, like we've seen shows like Our Cartoon President on Showtime use Character Animator for their character animation in a a primetime recurring series, and it's worked really well for them. They've been able to react to current events and characters and casts and stuff like that by all the different things that they that Character Animator allows them to do. So it's been really cool to see that.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, Voodoo Val is promoting your website and Twitter handle. So
I should update those.
A_Dave on Twitter and davidgerhard.com.
I think I'm on Instagram too.
Yeah. So we've got about 1 more minute left. Anything you want to say to people, anything you want to promote or say to people out there watching Adobe Live right now?
Well, keep watching Nickelodeon, to be honest.
Keep watching cartoons is what you're saying?
Keep watching cartoons and just keep making stuff. Like, there's so much out there to be made.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, David, it was a pleasure having you on today. Really appreciate it. It was awesome seeing your session today. Very inspiring seeing what you're doing with Character Animator. He started his whole presentation today with a talking hot dog that was jumping around the screen, and it was
that was so people didn't look at me.
Yeah,
honestly.
well, immediately the audience was loving it, and it turned out great. So, really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come out here.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to Adobe Live. There's still some more stuff coming, right? One more stream. Behance with Will Allen. So stick around for that, and we'll see you next time.